Hello everyone, today we're taking one of my favorite posters and turning it into pixel art in my style. So let's analyze the composition real quick. So we have 5 different focal points that we need to consider. So the first one is Batman in the back, the second one is Bruce, then we have the Riddler, the Penguin, and we have the Catwoman. And we have to make sure that we have all of these ingredients in, and also make sure that the background kind of matches. When we look at the background here, we see there's a lot of clouds that are converging. So we have like this cloud over here, this one, and this one kind of going there. And then you have like a lot of leading lines that are leading you back to the center. And they also have some text, so we're gonna put that as well. So starting off, we always start with doing silhouettes. It's the fastest and easiest way to capture a composition without diving too deep into it and putting a lot of time and effort. Just making sure that you have your proportions correctly and everything in its right place. So starting off, I wanted to work in the background and the first focal. So just gonna work on making that character come to life and getting it back to the Octahead's universe. So we're working on the next 3 focals, making sure that they're all proportioned and ease into the composition and make everything converge back to our main focal. Now I'm just adding very minor details to make sure that I have the character design correct, and maybe get a little bit out of the box and just experiment with how I want the characters to look like. And now I'm just like roughly putting in some stuff in the background just to get a quick feel of how the character is gonna look like. And next thing is working on the background and working on the clouds, making sure that we get all of these converging lines to match the poster, and just making sure that we have a very good contrast between the background and the foreground. And now I'm working on adding more leading lines to the foreground and making sure that all the color don't clash and help out with the whole composition. And now we're adding some highlights. And I want to point out that this is a speed painting, and why speed painting is very important for any artist in their process. Speed painting not only help you with your time management, it also let you focus on the overall composition and color scheme rather than just getting, bogged down with all the details. It'll help you overcome a lot of creative blocks because you're not like sinking in like days and days on one painting. You can just do a speed painting in a few hours and come up with a quick composition. And that's what we're trying to do with this painting today. So next I'm working on the highlights, just trying to get a feel of how the light is behaving with the main characters. So I'm putting all of that in. And you notice here I didn't use like a gradient of gray. I wanted to get a complementary color. So if you look at the orange, complementary is either blue or green. So I opted for a green color, and that is where I'm going to use some of that into the detail for the characters and create a little bit of shadow balance. Next, I'm just adding a little bit more detail to give it some more depth. And all of these leading lines are intentional to bring you back to where Bruce Wayne was, and that will help with the overall composition. Next, I'm working on the middle character, just adding the same things, making sure that the leading lines are getting exactly where I want them to be. So you notice that the tie and the suit are all going down to Bruce. And now I'm just refining a little bit, and there are some areas that have a lot of negative space, so sometimes you can just add a little bit of just small details to fill in the gaps. It will help with the overall look and the mood of the painting. And lastly, we're just adding the text and making sure it fits the pixel art vibe. And you notice that I have everything in a separate layer, so that helps if I wanted to remove that text later. I can just remove that text and have it as a poster, a clean poster with no text. And lastly, I'm adding a flashlight effect to the main villains and just making sure that the effect kind of complement the whole aesthetic. And this is it. That's the final result. So we're going to be making more of these in the future, so let me know in the comments below which posters you'd like to see reimagined. So just remember, take it one day at a time, and I'll see you in the next video.